This broadcast will start in 15 seconds. This broadcast will start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Voice of Stockton. For more information on The Voice of Stockton, go to thevoiceofstockton.org.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of KXVS The Voice of Stockton or its parents, affiliates, management, and staff.
All right. Hey, everybody. I was still sharing the post on Facebook there, so sorry about that. Hello and welcome to True Talk with Christina, where we share the truth and nothing but the truth to help you create your best life. Today's show is about choices: right, left, up, down, sideways, over, under, yes, no, and wait. Pretty much every moment of every day, we make choices. Today, we're going to look into why we make the decisions we do and how to make better choices. I'm going to read my legal and compliance disclaimer, share some news and stats with you, and then we'll dive into our topic today: the good, the bad, the ugly about the choices we make. Welcome to True Talk with Christina. My name is Christina Kimball, and I am the branch manager for Edge Home Finance Corporation here in Stockton, California. We are licensed by the Department of Business Oversight under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, NMLS number 891464, and my personal NMLS 1484144. We support equal housing opportunity, of course. You can find us online at www.edgehomefinancecv.com, and that's CV for Central Valley. I'm a licensed professional real estate agent and grow leadership development at Volent Real Estate, licensed by the California Department of Real Estate. My license number is 019-12461. You can visit our real estate website at volentrealestate.com. I'm also an executive director and certified coach, trainer, and speaker with the John Maxwell team, where we believe that leadership is influence and the first person you lead is yourself. You can learn more about leadership and professional development on my website at www.christinakimblespeaks.com. For our mortgage news today, interest rates are increasing slightly. Nothing to be alarmed about, however, something to keep in mind. If you've been thinking about buying or refinancing a home, now is definitely the time to look into that as opposed to doing it later. You can definitely save money now. We do anticipate more rate increases going into the end of the year, as well as continuing into next year. We're getting away from those 3%ers and moving a little up there. Not up like super high. Like I said, no reason to be alarmed. However, they are increasing. At Edge Home Finance, we also have a new loan program that I wanted to share with you. It's called the All-in-One Home Loan. It's available for a home purchase or refinance. As you know, mortgage interest can be one of the biggest financial obstructions to obtaining a home loan. The all-in-one loan was developed by homeowners and mortgage professionals as a solution. By combining banking functionality with home financing into one dynamic instrument. Yes, banking like a checking account and your home loan. It's a super cool program. It took me a little while to wrap my head around it because it is unique. It's different. Here in the United States, they have something similar internationally, but we haven't really had this here so much. So I'm glad that we have it. It's not a good fit necessarily for everybody. You do need to have 20% equity in your home for this to work well for you. And it can save you tens of thousands of dollars and enable you to pay your mortgage off sooner while still having the comfort of knowing it would be paid off in 30 years. It capitalizes on every deposit made into the checking account to help pay off your loan faster, and may, because of course I can't say it will, there are many factors that affect this, which you would know about, of course, if you chose to go this route, but it may dramatically lower the overall cost of your home loan. I was playing with some of the numbers and different scenarios last week, and it's incredible. It can save, I literally did an example, I think it would have saved the borrower like $30,000. So it's pretty amazing. So if you'd like to learn more and see if this is a good option for your home purchase or refinance, you can call us at 855-428-8554. And of course, you can contact us through our website at edgehomefinancecv.com. Now it's time for your real estate update. We going forward, I'm switching up the format of this a little bit to not overwhelm with numbers, because when you hear them and don't see them, it can be overwhelming to hear a lot of different numbers. So I'm going to stick with sharing how many homes, single family homes, are on the market for sale. And we'll always compare the week before to the current week and see, are these numbers going up? And each week, are we seeing an upward trend or a downward trend in the number of homes for sale? So this is, I think it's more beneficial doing it this route in this type of format on the show. But if you have questions, you want to know more information, how many homes are pending, how many homes are sold, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to help you on an individual level. So these stats were pulled from MetroList as of 11:30 this morning. In Lodi, there are 151 homes for sale, and that's up from 139 last week. In Stockton, there are 670 homes for sale, and that's up from 592 last week. So that's a pretty good jump there. In Manteca, we have 144 homes for sale, and that is up from 115 of last week. Tracy and Mountain House currently have 182 homes for sale, and that is up from 148 of last week. And we round out the towns, and I chose the larger cities here in the Central Valley for the statistics. If we listed every single one, we'd be here a while. We're winding it up with Modesto. There are 445 homes for sale, and that is up from 391 last week. So it's been a little while since I've shared a general market update, and you might be wondering, the last one I shared, we talked about it being a seller's market. Is it still a seller's market? What's happening for buyers right now? Well, those are great questions, and I thought, well, let's address those questions. We are seeing more inventory on the market now than we were, let's say, back in March. Inventory is still low overall. However, it is better than it was. We have as of August, we have about 2.5 months of inventory, which are homes available for sale. And when we look at inventory, we're looking at, okay, if everybody who is a buyer right now bought a home, when would we run out of homes? 2.5 months. That's what we're looking at. So we're still in a seller's market. But with 2.5 months of inventory, back in March, we were less than 2 months, a lot less. So we're seeing an increase, an upward trend in inventory, which is the number of homes for sale, but it's still a seller's market. The good thing is it's not as strictly tight of a seller's market, so buyers are able to get a little bit more now than they could before. There's a little more ability to negotiate now than we had, say, back in March or even December of last year. The inventory was quite a bit tighter. So we are seeing an increase in the homes for sale. We're still seeing homes sell around the listed price, a little bit higher, sometimes a little bit lower if they started out a bit too high. Again, buyers are able to negotiate a little bit more. For example, my clients just were able to get a few $1,000s credit on a home that they signed papers for this morning, which is always an exciting time. So the bottom line is, it is a very good time to sell property right now. It is also a very good time to buy because there's a little more competition on the market in regards to for the sellers. There are more homes for sale. However, there's still not a huge amount of inventory, so it's still a good time to sell. It's kind of a unique time when it's good to sell and it's good to buy. So now we're going to switch gears a little bit. I was doing a mortgage Mythbuster, but I'm expanding that to a Mythbuster of the week. And this one, let me ask you this. When you would go back to when you were a little kid and you were playing outside after school, after you did your homework, of course, and you were riding your bike and you fell down, scraped your knee, or you're playing tag and you fell down and scraped your knee, or you were trying to hammer something, you were learning how to use a hammer and use tools, and maybe you hit your thumb or you stepped on a rusty nail. I think almost every child somehow, at least when we were younger, would step on a rusty nail. So what would you clean that with? Would you grab the alcohol, the rubbing alcohol, the isopropyl alcohol that would burn, or would you grab that brown bottle of hydrogen peroxide to clean out that cut because it didn't burn? Which one did you choose? The rubbing alcohol or the hydrogen peroxide? Or maybe you chose something else. I know we always went for that brown bottle, and I thought it was cool how it bubbled up and it would foam, and I'm like, ooh, that's eating all the bad stuff. Well, it turns out that hydrogen peroxide is really not, I repeat, not good for your skin. Go figure. And we were always using that. I've seen that the last couple of years. I think really a lot of information popping up on my news feed, on websites, different things talking about harmful effects of hydrogen peroxide. Here we are trying to help ourselves, and we could have been hurting ourselves. So I found this article this morning. I thought, let me find one that I can reference for the show today. And this is from, and I don't know this website. I'm not familiar with its agenda or anything like that, but I do know I had read many things about this, so I just picked one. It's from medicaldaily.com. It's an article from by Nikki Tucker from August 30th, 2012. And it was talking about the harmful that many health experts are warning against the use of hydrogen peroxide, that it should only be used topically. Because have you ever gargled with hydrogen peroxide? I never did do that. That kind of grossed me out. I don't like chemical taste in my mouth. But some people would put it in their mouth. They're swishing around with it, thinking they're getting their teeth and gums real clean. But they say it should only be used topically. According to health experts at the Swedish Center in Colorado, hydrogen peroxide contains too much oxygen for the blood, leading to potential issues. When your skin absorbs hydrogen peroxide, it can reduce the amount of fibroblasts. Who knew what those were? A particular cell that is imperative for cleaning and repairing damaged skin. So hydrogen peroxide was doing the opposite of what we were using it for. Go figure. That's the Mythbuster. So according to the article, they are saying the next time you find yourself with a cut or scrape or a minor puncture wound, opt out of hydrogen peroxide. Instead, follow these tips offered by the American Academy of Family Physicians. I'm not going to read all of these tips. However, if you go to medicaldaily.com, you look for dangers of hydrogen peroxide. You can even Google that and this article will come up. That's how I found it. But basically, it's using cold water. Run your finger or your scrape or your cut, whatever is damaged on your skin, it's hurting. Rinse it with water. Let cool water, not boiling water. We're not trying to get skin burn here, but under cool water, run it under that. And if you can't fit whatever is underwater, put some water in a cup and pour it, a clean cup, of course, pour it over the injured area. If there's anything embedded in the skin rash, get some tweezers, clean them first. You can clean those with hydrogen peroxide because they're not skin. And then use it to pick all the things that might have gotten stuck in there. So anyway, I thought that was important to share. It's one of those things we've always thought was good for us. Turns out it may not be so good. So that's a good myth buster for the week. Phew. Let's talk about choices. The good, the bad, the ugly of the choices we make. I had the opportunity to speak with a sixth grade class yesterday in Tracy. And it was career day. I was supposed to go in and talk about being a real estate agent, being a loan officer. Before that, years ago, I was a police officer as well. So I had these different things that I could talk with these sixth graders about. And I started thinking, what do sixth graders really care about? A real estate agent, a loan officer, possibly a police officer, yes, because a lot of them still think police officers are cool, which is awesome. I did take handcuffs so that I could, get their attention with that. Of course, they loved that. They didn't get to use them or play with them. I was smart, but I wanted to flip it. I didn't want to stand up and talk all about myself. I wanted to get to know them. And one of the things that really stands out to me when it comes to children, when it comes to adults, is that we don't always pay enough attention to the choices we make. We kind of go through life on autopilot. Oh, I can't say we do. It's very easy to go through life on autopilot, to accept whatever circumstances that we're in by default and just go with that instead of making a different choice, instead of taking, rising up in our power and making a decision for good, for better, for amazing, for fantastic, for success. When it was funny, when I asked the sixth grade class, who wants to be successful? And some of them raised their hands and I'm like, is everybody listening? And then more hands went up. And so, okay, yes, they want to be successful, but what does that mean? What did that mean to them? I know what it means to me, but what does it mean to them? And one of them said, money. Of course, that's going to be a quick answer. But one of them said, moving forward. And I said, that's interesting. So I took a step forward. I said, like this? And he said, no, metaphorically. But he got it. He got it. It's moving forward toward a goal that we have. So I asked them, some of them didn't want to share, and that's okay. I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot. But I asked them, what did they want to be? So I ask you, what do you want to be? What kind of person do you want to be? If you're a business owner, what kind of business owner do you want to be? Are you a leader? What kind of leader do you want to be? The Pastor Keith was preaching at our church on Sunday, and he made a statement I've heard before, but he said, be the leader that you would want to follow. And if you really think about that, like really think about it, if you're a manager, if you're a supervisor, if you train people, if you teach children, be the teacher that you would have wanted as a child. If you're a manager, be the manager that you would have wanted when you got started in your career. We have choices that we can make. If you're a student, imagine you're the teacher. Be the student that you would want in your classroom. If you're a child, you grow up and you have your own children, be the parent. Be the qualities of the parent that maybe you didn't have. And maybe you don't know what kind of parent you want to be. Maybe you just know you don't want to be like how your parent was if you grew up in a really bad situation, or maybe you didn't know your parent. You have a choice. You can learn how to be good at anything. So I want to share a book with you. And this is one of my absolutely favorite books. It's called No Excuses, The Power of Self-Discipline by Brian Tracy. So I'm going to hold that up for those of you that are watching the live feed so that you can see it. If I point it toward the correct camera, right? Have you read this book? Have you seen it before? It is very good. You can get it on Audible. You can get it on Amazon. You can go into your favorite bookstore and purchase it. You can download it on Kindle so you can listen to it, hear it, and you can read it. And I want to talk about chapter 2, not the whole chapter, just this one part of it, actually a couple parts of it. I won't say it's just one part because I am going to go a little bit around here. But chapter 2, self-discipline and character. There's a quote right at the beginning that says, hold yourself responsible for a higher standard than anyone else expects of you. Never excuse yourself. Never pity yourself. Be a hard master to yourself and be lenient to everyone else. That's a quote from Henry Ward Beecher. He was a 19th century clergyman. There's also a quote in here from Ralph Waldo Emerson. He said, what you do speaks so loudly that I cannot hear a word that you say. Have you ever, which you probably have, if you've been alive for a few decades or even a couple, have you ever been around those people who talk a good talk, they talk a good game, they say what sounds good, and you're like, yeah. And sometimes they're salespeople, right? I've signed up for this software program, and they told me all these things, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. This is incredible software. It's exactly what I'm looking for. And then I sign the contract, and they're okay. This is a year. You forget that part, right? And then a month or two into it of having the service, whether it's this software or something else you signed a contract for, what can happen sometimes? Wah, wah. That's what. Things aren't working like they said. It's not doing everything they said that it could. You saw the demo, but there was a lot of information at first. And then when you actually start using it, you're like, well, I thought it did this. I thought it did that. And it doesn't do either. Oh, we're still building out that functionality. It's coming next month. Next month comes and it still hasn't arrived. Huge disappointment, right? What was this quote? What you do speaks so loudly that I cannot hear a word that you say. So imagine in this height of frustration of using this software that doesn't do what they said it could do, you call tech support and they say, well, this is what we're doing. This is what we're working on. This is what's going to happen. It's going to be fantastic. Hang in there for a month. We're here to support you and make sure your business is successful. And all the while, what's actually happening is frustration is mounting because what they're saying isn't matching what's actually happening. There's a disconnect. You know what that's where integrity comes in. Integrity, actually, there's a really great quote in this book, and I want to share this because it's worded so perfectly. That's why. Integrity. This starts on page 36, so if you'd like to reference this later, we will, let's see, let me start at the right part. Coming before, he's talking about values, but then he says, coming before all these values, however, is the most important one of all when determining the depth and strength of your character. The depth and strength of your character, and that is integrity. It is your level of integrity, living in complete truth with yourself and others, that demonstrates more than anything else the quality of your character. In a way, integrity is actually the value that guarantees all the other values. When your level of integrity is higher, you are more honest with yourself and more likely to live consistently with all the other values that you admire and respect. However, it takes tremendous self-discipline to become a person of character. It takes considerable willpower to always do the right thing in every situation. And it takes both self-discipline and willpower to resist the temptation to cut corners, take the easy way, or act for short-term advantage. All of life is a test to see what you are really made of deep down inside. Wisdom can be developed in private through study and reflection, but character can be developed only in the give and take of daily life, when you are forced to choose and decide among alternatives and temptations. We're talking about choices today. Everything we do, every choice we make reinforces something in us. We can choose to go right. We can choose to go left. We can choose to go up. We can choose to go down. We can choose to go through something. We can choose to move it. But sometimes we have to go through some things. But how do we go through them? What choices do we make? Do they line up with our value system? Because what you focus on, what you give more attention to, grows. So are you focusing on your values, and do your actions back up your values? Or are they reinforcing something else? So let's say this isn't true, but we'll just say, let's say my value, I have a high value against dairy. I just don't like dairy. This isn't true, okay? But we're just using it as an example. I say I don't like dairy, but every time I go to pick a meal, I pick something with cheese on it. When we go through the drive-thru, I'm getting a milkshake. My words are not matching up with my values. I could say I'm very concerned about my health, and then all I eat is junk food. There's a disconnect. I'm making choices that aren't in alignment with my values. And as a result, I feel guilty. I feel disempowered. I'm unhappy. Remember, this is a hypothetical situation. I do like dairy. And I do like ice cream. But I also want to be healthy. So sometimes when I choose that milkshake, I don't feel good. My taste buds are kind of happy. But as soon as that milkshake is gone, that happiness is gone. It's so temporary. We have choices, and every day our choices can back up who we want to be. They can reinforce who we want to be. We can grow how we want to grow, and we can be successful. Or our choices can handicap us. In a way, we can always make a different choice. Our choices can hold us back. There's a consequence for every choice we make. There's a result. Something will happen as a result of a choice you made. If I choose to brush my teeth in the morning, and the next morning, and the next morning, and every night, if I choose to brush my teeth every time after I eat, there's a consequence for that. We always think of consequence as bad, but there's a result. That's all it is. A consequence is a result. There is something that's going to happen because of that action I took. If I brush my teeth every time after I eat, a consequence, a result of that is, guess what? Maybe I won't have any cavities. That's a good thing. On the other hand, if I make the choice knowing my dentist said, you need to brush your teeth and you need to, floss. See, I don't floss. I couldn't even remember the name of it. You need to floss because your teeth are too close together and your toothbrushes can't get in there to break up the bacteria and keep you from getting a cavity. So if I choose to not listen to the dentist, to not listen to the professional, to not listen to the voice of wisdom, and I make a choice to go the other way, I'm not going to brush my teeth, I'm not going to floss because I just don't feel like it, there's a consequence for that as well. Rotting teeth, cavities, decay, root canals, drills in your mouth. I don't know about you, I don't like drills in my mouth. But my choices are going to reinforce what I want or what I don't want. I could say I don't want something, but if I consistently choose something that's going to lead to that, there's a disconnect. Every choice you make is a statement about your true values and priorities. So let's look at what choices we're making, because they're saying something about us, whether good or bad. So if we have something we want to accomplish in life, if you have something that you want to accomplish in life, you say, this is my goal. When I reach it, I'm going to be successful. It could be in a relationship. It could be in your business. It could be in your education. It could be where you live. It could be where you're going on vacation. It could be the number of clients that you want to help, that you want to serve. It could be to a nonprofit that you want to volunteer with or give to. Whatever your goal is, what choices are you making to reach that goal? See, it's easy on autopilot. We make choices every day. You choose where you're going to sit. You choose what time you're going to get up. You choose when you wake up, you get to choose, are you going to get out of bed or are you going to stay in bed? Are you going to go to work? Are you going to go to school? Are you going to go to the living room? Or are you going to stay in bed? Are you going to take a shower? You choose what blouse you're going to wear, what shirt you're going to wear, what socks go with the outfit, or shoes. To wear cologne or not wear cologne. To follow the prompting when you're driving down the street and you see somebody their car got stuck, you get to choose. Do you pull over and get out of your car and help that person? Or do you drive off and say, wow, glad that's not me? Or maybe you say a prayer for them, but you keep driving. They're all choices. They're all choices. So if you have a goal, obviously I work with a lot of real estate agents. So I'll use that as an example. Let's say, whether you are or you aren't, we'll pretend right now that you're a real estate agent. And your goal is you want to sell 5 homes by the end of the year. Great. That's a fantastic goal. What choices will you make to get you closer to that? When it comes time to picking up the phone to make a phone call, returning an email, do you make the phone call? Or do you go do something else? Remember, what we focus on, based on our choices that we make, we get more of. What we focus on, we empower. So if you're afraid to send that email, if you're afraid to make that phone call, if you're afraid to talk to that person over there, you're focusing on the fear if you don't do it. What's going to happen? What you focus on, you get more of, you empower. So you've got more fear. Maybe you've decided you'd like to buy a home, but you're afraid. And you think, you know what? I don't think I can do it. My parents never bought a home. I'm too young. I don't think I can buy a home. I don't think I can quality. I don't think. We see a lot of people disqualifying themselves before they ever get started. It'd be like a quarterback on a football team on the sidelines. Defense is running, time for offense. He comes out, he's going to come on the field and he's got to throw the ball. And he's like, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can throw it to that guy over there. He's not going to be able to catch it. If I do throw it, it's probably going to hit that guy over there in the head. All these thoughts of the negative. What happens? You think that quarterback's going to win a game? No, he's filling his head with the wrong things. He's doing the activities, which is focusing on the wrong things that are holding him back. So we change our focus, change what we're thinking about, pay attention, first of all, to what we're thinking about, and make informed choices, make intentional choices. Instead of the autopilot stuff we do out of habit, that's why the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting what? Expecting a different result. So you do the same things you've always done have led you to where you are. So now take a look at where you want to go and make a better choice. You can do it. You are worth it. Focus on what you want. That's what we get more of, right? Make the right choices that are going to lead us there. One of the things that stood out to me years ago when I read it, and I think there might be something similar in here. Yes, in this book on page 37. It says, the only way that you can develop your full character is by exerting your willpower in every situation when you are tempted to do what is easy and expedient rather than what is correct and necessary. We have to do what is necessary if we want to achieve what we want. When I was talking to the sixth grade class yesterday, I used the example. Several of them wanted to be doctors. And then I asked, how many of you like to read? Not very many hands went up. But if they want to be successful, they have to do those things that get them to the next level, that keep them moving forward, that get them to the next step. Do the things that aren't necessarily the funnest things to do, but they're necessary. It's the right choice to make to get to the next step, to get to the end result, which was becoming a physician. So it's our choices. The good is that when we focus on the right choices to get us where we want to go, that's the good. The bad is we just go on autopilot sometimes, and it actually keeps us from getting what we want. The ugly is when we say we want these things, we want to achieve this over here, but all of our choices take us the opposite direction. There are consequences, good and bad, for every choice that we make. So the power of self-discipline, that is what helps us get. I want to read that again. Exerting your willpower in every situation when you are tempted to do what is easy and expedient rather than what is correct and necessary. Make the choices that are correct and necessary. Make the better choice to get the desired result you want. Make a different choice than you did this morning or yesterday if it didn't bring you closer to what you want. So it's the power of choice. So I encourage you to make a better choice the rest of this day and tomorrow so that you can have the success that you're looking for, whatever area of life that's in. And before we leave, I've got to share those holidays. It's kind of the fun part, a fun part. So September 18th, 2018, it is National Cheeseburger Day. I don't have to tell you how to celebrate that. You eat a cheeseburger, right? See, there you go. It's your holiday today, Cheeseburger Day. It is also National IT Professionals Day. So thank you. Thank your IT professionals that you know, because they help keep us going in this highly connected world. We know how frustrated we get when our IT doesn't work, our internet doesn't work. So thank those professionals for what they do. It is also National HIV/AIDS and Aging Awareness Day. And one of the ways it's recommended that you celebrate that is to educate yourself on what risk factors, what things lead to HIV and AIDS so you can protect yourself. And it is also the Air Force birthday. Did you know that?
I did not.
I didn't either.
That's cool.
So I like to focus on the historical ones because it helps us learn a little bit. So on September 18th, we commemorate the establishment of the United States Air Force. And these holidays that I get, they are from nationaldaycalendar.com. So you can always look these up on non-Tuesdays. I've always got you covered on Tuesdays. It says, almost from the moment the Wright brothers found a way to soar with the birds, aeronautical pursuits were incorporated into the military. However, it was not until September 18th, 1947, that the U.S. Air Force was a separate branch of the armed forces. The Signal Corps was the earliest established aeronautical force in the military. The first missions during the Civil War provided visual communications via flags and torchlight from aerial balloons. The Signal Corps didn't become an official branch of the Army until 1863, making way for more aeronautical training and study. So there's a little more history in there, but I'm going to cut right to the chase at the end here. On September 18th, 1947, President Truman signed the National Security Act establishing the U.S. Air Force on board the first Air Force One of VC-54C, which I don't know what would be more appropriate, but to name and establish the United States of America Air Force than being on a plane. It's just perfect. So as a result of pursuing advanced technology and superior airmen and women, the U.S. Air Force emerged as the swiftest tactical force ready to deploy anywhere at a moment's notice. On September 18th, today, celebrate the airmen and women who are on watch every day. Thank you to all who have served in our Air Force, no matter what name it was under in the past or the present. We have one announcement, community announcement, is Family Promise has a community meeting coming up on October 4th. It is building up to launch here in San Joaquin County in 2019. The purpose of Family Promise is to support homeless children and their families to obtain housing, jobs, and regain stability in their lives. A community meeting has been scheduled for Thursday, October 4th, and you're invited. It will be held at First Presbyterian Church, located at 31 East Vine Street in Stockton. I don't know where that just came from. From Stockton. The time is still to be confirmed. You can learn more, ask any questions, get more information, get connected with the team at Family Promise on their Facebook page at facebook.com/Family Promise SJC. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you will join me next week. True Talk with Christina is live at 105 every Tuesday right here on KXVS, the voice of Stockton. Currently, you can watch KXVS on social media through live streams on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. Like what you hear? Consider becoming a supporting member of our station. You can learn more at kxvs.org. Thanks again for tuning in. Have an amazing week. Let the truth be your guide.